Hello dear students, welcome to the online education of class 7 science. So dear students, in the previous class we have started the lesson soil. So in the previous class we discussed about the importance of the soil, means the different sources of soil. Later on we discussed about the soil profile, means the soil is made up of distinct layers, inseparable distinct layers. So they are arranged in a particular order. So we have studied the activity wherein we have taken a one glass which is filled with the 3/4 amount of water, and we have added a handful of powdered soil into it. So after, you have to shake it well, and after some time everything, when it is mixed with it, so you will just allow it to stand without undisturbed. Okay, with undisturbed means you will not make it shake. So after some time it will settle, and finally you will see the distinct layers of the soil, so which is from the bottom: gravel, sand, clay, water and humus. So these all layers we will observe in the glass tumbler. So the rotting dead matter, what you see in the top portion, the rotting leaves and the dead remains of part of the animals, whatever the rotting matter is left and floating, keep floating on the surface, top surface of the water, that is known as what? Humus. Okay, so the rotting dead matter on the soil in the first layer, that we call it as humus. So you all probably know that the soil is formed by breakdown of the what? Minerals or rocks, not minerals, we can say rocks. Okay, the formation of the soil is a long process, means it takes around thousands of years. Okay, so you may wonder, the formation of the soil would not be possible within a year or a 10 year. It may take around 1000 years, because the formation of the soil takes place from the what? Rocks, by the action of the wind, rain and climate. Okay, so this is how the formation of the soil takes place. So this process we call it as what? Weathering of the rocks. Okay, so dear students, the formation of soil by the breaking down of what? Rocks, by the action of the wind and rain and even some part of water, means the raining place process takes place, action of the wind, continuous blowing of the wind and climate, these all affect the weathering of the rocks. So this weathering of the rocks leads to finally formation of the soil. So the nature of the soil, of any soil, depends on some parameters. The nature of the soil depends on some of the parameters, that is, it is depend on from the rocks from which it is formed, from which kind of rocks that soil is formed. So based on that, the nature of the soil also depend upon that. It is also depend upon the type of the vegetation which that grows on it, what type of vegetation grows in that particular soil, so that also affects there. Okay, so the vertical section through different layers of the soil, a vertical section through the different layers of the soil, what we see in the glass tumbler. Okay, the vertical section of the different layers of the soil, we call it as soil profile. Okay, so each layer is different, each layer of the soil is different in its touch, or we can call it as a texture. Okay, so it's also depend on the color of the soil, each layer of the layer color is different, texture is different, its depth is different. See, for example, the humus is not so depth. Okay, and even the chemical combination, this is very important. The layer of the soil, each layer of the soil depends on the color, depth and chemical combination, and texture is different for different layer. So these layers are referred as horizons. Okay, now look at the figure 9.3 here, dear students. You will see the different horizons here. So look at the vertical section through the different layers of the soil. Look at here, different layers of the soil are there. So this we call it as horizons. Okay, so these layers are referred to as horizons. See, this is what where the top portion the plants are growing. See, below that, first layer is horizon A, second layer is horizon B, and third layer is horizon C, and whereas last layer is bedrock. So dear students, try to observe this one. So this is the vertical section of the soil which shows the distinct layer of the soil. We call them as what? Horizons. Okay, horizon A, horizon B, horizon C, and finally it is bedrock. It's a bottom portion of the soil. Okay, so dear students, so let me continue with the remaining part of the lesson in the next period. Thank you and have a nice day.